All right, let's do it. First episode, just Beavin podcast for the Beaverfest Fantasy Dynasty League. You can see our names up on the screen. Andy Ockham, Beave himself, JP. We're ready to rock and roll. First episode. We're going to see where this goes. We don't have a definite plan. I mean, we do have a plan. We're just going to talk about our fantasy football league, but we've already talked about bringing on members of the league throughout specific episodes. But today, just kind of an introduction to us. Obviously, if you follow our Instagram page, beaver.fest, you kind of know everything there is to know. A lot of trades posted, mostly just memes, stupid things, but we're actually going to analyze some of the league here prior to our rookie draft, which is next Saturday. I believe it's the 26th or 25th, one of the 2 days. It's one of those. But
I think 25th.
25th at 6 p.m.
There we go, 6 p.m. I don't think we're going to like live stream it or anything, but we'll have a show after to kind of go over the results. But today we're just going to kind of look into how everyone's team stacks up, who's got what picks, and then our panel here is going to rank our peers, which I'm sure that will go over really well. So
go real well. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Without further ado, Beaver, you're gonna pull up the rosters we got in front of us here, and we'll just
here we go.
introduce the people, the teams, and what we got.
Yak, we'll start with your team. You care with that?
Oh boy, yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Let's do it, man.
A lot of holes on this team.
All right, so we got Burrow at QB, HA.
I said we let Andy break down his own roster before we
yeah, we can know what that happened. That's fine. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you started at Beef, Burrow QB1, A-Chain, Javonte Williams. I mean, you could all see it in front. Puka Nacua, a nice undrafted free agent pickup that I had the wire once all those guys became open and open access to everyone. Some DK, Jacoby Myers, Jake Ferguson. Got Hollywood Brown now in Kansas City in one of the flexes. David and
I just noticed they changed Marquise Brown. It's officially Hollywood now on Sleeper. I just noticed that right now.
I like it.
Yeah,
I also like it. It looks more official, especially because everyone calls him Hollywood anyway.
So what do you guys think? You think he's going to be efficient in KC, or do you think Worthy's going to take all those snaps?
Well, we got to see what happens with Rashee Rice first. I think that's
a real
I don't. Yeah, we'll get to him later, but I don't. Ooh. All right, back to your team, Andy. Go for it, man.
Yeah, talk about Njoku. Good year in Cleveland last year. We'll see what changes when Deshaun is more in the fold. I know Joe Flacco stepped in last year when Watson missed the rest of the season. And then it gets kind of hairy at my second quarterback spot with my guys Russell Wilson and Hendon Hooker.
Before we officially move on to the bench, Beav, do you want to click on Njoku? I kind of want to see his stats prior, pre-Flacco and post-Flacco.
So we got 590 week 1.
Basically, average step in. I don't really remember.
I think he stepped in.
I'm gonna look that up actually.
I think he stepped.
I think if you look at the numbers, I think you can tell when Flacco stepped in. It's got to be that Colts game, if not maybe Seattle.
Oh, I thought it was
week 12.
Week 12, yeah.
So I mean, he was doing well before pre-Flacco, but post.
But not as well.
Oh Jesus! I mean, post Flacco, he probably would have been. I'm sure from week. What did I say? 12. From 12 to 18, I'm sure he was the tight end 1 by probably 30 points.
I mean, he only
multiple 30-point games, and it's worth noting we are now a tight end premium league.
Yeah,
so
actually, this could have pushed you into the playoff potentially last year.
I was in the playoffs, but
were you really?
I was. Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. You were the
regretful
seventh.
playoff push. That was. I'm going to be honest. I was bullied.
Oh my god! Does that mean Dade was 6?
Dade missed the playoffs.
Oh, Dade did miss the
playoffs.
No,
Frankie was in front of me because he was egging me on to, you should really make the push, and I fell for it. So, but
that's right. So if you see these numbers, so holy cow, he only had one single digit game where Flacco didn't pass the ball that much. Okay, that's
post Flacco action. And then I talked about my quarterbacks. Not trying to tip too much before the draft, but it's a good thing there's a lot of quarterbacks available in this upcoming rookie draft because
it's a quarterback heavy draft.
Yeah, I don't like Russell Wilson and my guy Hendon Hooker. It is worth noting the Kamara trade as well. I probably should have him in there. I'm going to be honest, I haven't touched my lineup in like 2 months. I've just kind of left the roster as is.
Yep.
And then rest of the bench pretty self-explanatory. It's either a bunch of old dudes. I don't know why I still have Michael Carter on my team, if I'm to be completely honest.
I was actually just looking through their depth chart over there. They have a lot of like mid-tier running backs. So at least 4 of them are gonna have to get cut.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's
click on Michael Carter real quick and go to that depth chart. It's Michael Carter, Amari DiMercato, and there was one other.
James Conner.
Tony Jones. They drafted
Dallas and Tony Jones, but Tony Jones, picked up right after. Actually, I might have even drafted him in the inaugural draft, like the kickoff, the league start draft.
Good
When he was
times, simpler times.
when he was with the Saints, and I thought he was going to be something. He clearly has not and is not. But
Yeah, if you
Well,
back
I'm
out, you want to talk inaugural draft beat, you scroll down a little bit. You got my boy Sky Moore chilling on the bench. Talk about just a complete blunder of a pick. I thought I was getting the next, I don't know what the next thing, and obviously not the next Tyreek Hill, but I was
click
pretty
on
high
Sky
on
Moore. Let's see
Sky
where
Moore.
let's see where Andy took him at. Go to his history.
I took him in the 7th round or
Take
9th
nine.
round. Okay,
906.
a little bit
Ooh,
better. I thought he was.
geez.
I thought
Oh,
I took him in the 7th.
boy.
So
7th would have been rough sledding. 9th,
Hold
I
up.
guess, makes it a
If you
little
guys
better.
don't mind, I'm gonna look at Kareem Hunt. He's still a free agent, right?
he's not on a team.
Kareem Hunt
That's
is not on a
crazy.
team and
That
probably
is-
will not be on a team. He was pretty bad at the end of the year, if I recall.
Yeah, well, luckily we got a
Well-
lot of roster spots right now, and I can
Yeah.
hold guys until the draft, and then we'll have to make
Of
some
course.
necessary cuts. We'll have to talk to the rest of the front office, and we'll go through things. I know I still got my taxi squad down there, bunch of ballers. I got the Tucker brothers, Tyler Scott, my guy Chris Rodriguez holding down the fort, and then I got 3 picks in this upcoming draft. This will be actually not the first time. First time I'm making my own first round pick. I traded in with JP last year to take A-Chain, but I did not.
Does it bother either of you that
Yep. Why is 210 in front of 206?
yes. I was wondering
Good
the
question.
same thing.
Nah.
But no, first time I'll be making my own first round pick. I traded Jacob my
Oh,
first round
now I
pick.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
is
did
a little-
trade. We did trade for A-Chain, and then
Yeah,
which
worked well for me.
not me. I was gonna take Kendre Miller there anyways. Figured I'd move down and get one more pick, and Kendre Miller potentially has
didn't work
written
out
all
too
over
well.
him.
I thought
don't
he'd be a
even think
little
he has-
better over there.
I don't even think he
but-
has 30 snaps yet.
Yeah. So that's my squad. We look at Frankie's. I think Frank's next, right? Underneath me.
Yeah,
Yep.
Frank's next.
The guy who's just built a juggernaut of a team.
Oh, man.
We're not going to
This is
call
what you
people
call
out,
a bunch
but
of
we-
young talent right here. Oh,
Yeah, we
man.
can indirectly say Frank got this because of some I've used the word blunder a couple times already on this installment, but some blunders from the rest of the league. Not
Not gonna name
poking
anyone.
fingers.
Dade Pitchford.
Yeah, Frank's gotten some help, but hey, he was the one to make the trades. So
What
It'll
did
be
McBride end up finishing? Beef.
I think he fell
7,
no-
that sounds
number
about right.
7. It'll be interesting. I don't know about YouTube. It'll be interesting to see if London will have more production this year or he'll be at a decline still with Cousins back. And who knows, maybe Penix will be in the mix. I did not
this
think
year, no.
No,
I
I
can't
know.
imagine.
Well,
Penix
you
gonna
never
be-
know.
I mean, Kirk gets hurt, but
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If he gets
Let's
hurt,
Let's take a
but
deeper
who would
look
have
at
ever
his
thought that the
flexes.
Falcons would have took him at number 7, right? 7 or was it 8?
8.
8.
8. Yeah.
His flexes show the depth here with Walker, Pacheco, and then CJ Stroud as your.
I mean, Stroud and Mahomes is about as
I mean, that's just
top
top
4
tier.
as you can get.
Yeah,
You ain't beating that.
he did well, and I remember because he had the second pick, and he took
He took Stroud over Young. He was a Stroud believer. I actually remember me and him vividly having a conversation about how we both like Stroud more than Young.
Mm-hmm. And it worked out for him so far. I know the bench. He's got Roshan. Us is
A
Bears.
lot of young talent. So many young
I know.
guys.
Yeah,
I don't.
That's
Hot take.
that's how
I
you do
really,
in this league.
Hot
That's how you
take. I
blow it up.
really don't like Stevenson though. I just don't like him. I just.
You know, it's not much of what you like, but I'm pretty sure he was probably a top 12 running
I
back.
would take him on my team at heart. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, well, he was injured, but when he was playing, he was good.
Yeah, and he's got a new
I
quarterback. in
agree.
Drake May.
I just don't like that Patriots offense. We'll see if Drake May can turn it around, but
Yeah.
I mean,
So let's take a look at. Got some more young talent on the bench. Take a look at what picks he has. Dalton Kincaid, the Schultz as well. Some good tight
Hyatt's
end
not
depth.
looking like he's anything important.
you know,
Likely.
and shout out to you, Frank. I offered you 2 second rounders and you didn't want that, so that's your loss, man. for Mr. Hyatt.
On top of that, Michael Meyer, I offered Frankie 2 seconds for him immediately after the draft, and he
Yeah.
told me no, which karma is not nice, Frankie, because
Yeah,
now
Brock Bowers a Raider. So
That is
that'll
right.
change things up there for sure.
Alec
Scroll down
Pierce,
to his
taking
picks.
Matt-
I want to see what
I
picks
gotcha.
he's got. And he got his taxi squad. Shout out Parker
unimportant taxi
Washington.
squad.
Yeah, so he's got 4 picks in this draft. 2 2s, the 105. He's right in front of me.
It's a
and he's got
blessing to
the
see
third as
that.
well.
Next year, he runs out of his draft capital. It's an absolute blessing.
Yeah, 3/3,
About
and then he's
time.
back to his first round ways in 2026. I don't think he'll I don't know. Maybe he could pull something off to where he gets some 2025 draft capital back.
Oh, you never
Looking
know.
at his
Gate will
roster
probably.
now, I don't really know if he needs it.
Yeah,
if,
I
if
mean,
I'm being fully honest. So
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll see. The work
we
is
got
magic. All
we
right.
got R.I.P. George Cooper Sr. up next, the Hamburglar.
Shout out Rip George.
He was a year late, but he's also attempting to take the Frankie build to a roster.
I
Yeah.
agree. I don't
And
really like his running backs, but they're a little. We'll
His
see how
running
Swift
backs are the definition of guys who are no good in real life, but their
fantasy
fantasy
owners
stats
love 'em.
are, yeah.
running backs is just a hard position to approach in fantasy football nowadays. Anyways, you
And
can't really get excited about any of them.
I'm really expecting a big year from Garrett Wilson, but that's just me. I don't know if you guys have a big take on that or not,
It
but
all
Rodgers.
depends on how A-Rod
Yeah.
looks.
Gotta be healthy.
yeah.
Jake's got Addison as well. A big thing for him on draft night was not thrilled with Drake May, or the Vikings didn't move up for Drake May, and then he wasn't thrilled that McCarthy became a Viking. It hurt Jordan Addison's stock in double effect there. But I still think Jordan Addison's a good enough receiver to where he'll get his. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah, 100% agree.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. All right, let's take a look at his bench.
He got, oh my gosh, yeah, he got Richardson at 7 or 8 or 9
He took
or
Young
something.
and Richardson in the first round
Yeah.
last year. So
Hey,
see
will
what
this be
Bryce
a
Young can
bounce?
do.
Will this be a bounce back year for Young? He's got Thielen, legit, Mingo, and he got Deontay Johnson.
He's got a better receiver.
I'm
not saying that's a
teasing on
powerhouse of an
Mingo.
offense, but I mean, he's got the guys now, and plus he's got Jatavion Sanders. I don't know how I feel about him. I know how you feel, JP, but we'll see how he rolls with them. The
Never want
defense
me
over there is not
happy,
really too
J.K.
hot,
Dobbins. I love the nickname feature on Sleeper. That's one of my faves. RB1 Zach Moss, question mark. Now in Cincinnati, no Joe Mixon. So we'll see there.
That was actually I really like that signing.
Yeah. No, it's going to work well for them. I really do think so. And, like I said, Mixon's now in Houston. That really is, it's Chase Brown and Zach Moss.
Zach Moss, yeah. And then I believe they drafted someone this year, but no one of.
I'm going to click on them and see their depth chart.
If we can't recall it off the top of our heads, might not be someone important. Travion Williams. Oh, no, he's been there.
Yep. No, I guess they just signed Chris Evans when I still had him rostered, and that threw me off.
So
that'll be interesting.
Look, this is, I mean, no bias involved here. I love the Windy City division. Great guys.
I do too. It's a great, great division.
I'm sure you guys do.
Great gentlemen, strong young men, and good football teams.
I do like all these teams on this division. Very young core.
You don't have to lie about mine, Drew. It's okay. We're going through it, but we'll.
Anyone who has any stock in any of those 4 Packers wide receivers is some of the most confusing stock in the world, because I'm not sure which one of them is the alpha, which one will be the alpha. Because they're all solid players, but there's no one who's just jumping off at me.
Well, like you said,
I have
you never
Christian Watson, so I don't love.
And I have Jaden Reed. So.
Like you said, you don't know who's going to get the touchdown every day, so it's just a wild card out there. Let's see. What's Jake got? 2 picks in the first round.
Will Mallory hanging out on his taxi squad. Shout out Will Mallory. 2 firsts, which once again aren't in order. Then he's got a second, 2 thirds, and a fourth. So some good draft capital.
It'll be interesting to see what he does at 103 with May, Neighbors, Daniels.
He'll have a plethora.
I'm curious who he'll take. I guess it all depends if he believes in Young or not. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Because wait, does he have any backups on his bench? I didn't really look at that.
Jake Browning,
who I kind of wouldn't mind having, considering I have Joe Burrow. But
feel like you had him at one point?
I did. No? I had to cut him for roster reasons, and then that's when Burrow got hurt, and I got Browning back thanks to the fab. So, all right, let's take a look at Mr. Kevin Parker, rounding out the Windy City division, best division in the league. Got Lamar Jackson. I can let you. That's similar to Drew. I can let you analyze your own roster, Drew.
Yeah, so we got Lamar Jackson. The running backs are a little shaky with Gibson and Pollard. Although I traded, I believe I went out and traded for Gibson. I really like. Actually click on that. Let's see. I can't even remember. It's been so long. I believe I traded for him.
I forgot he's a Patriot now. Jeez.
Yep. Right. I traded a 3rd and 4th for him. Yep. Yes, and that's why I liked him, because Zeke left and Stevenson, we all know, can't really catch passes. And for some reason, I've never bought into the Antonio Gibson hype when everyone was telling me he was going to be a RB1, but now he ends up in New England in what's known to be a terrible offense. I guess we'll see this year, but Yeah, I really like Gibson there. Pollard worries me a little bit. The ceiling is so high with this Tennessee offense. There's a lot of big names, a lot of playmakers. But I guess it all depends on the split with Spears. And then, Reed, like we just mentioned with Green Bay, I don't got to go over that. Rashee Rice, we can just skip over him. He's no point talking about him right
You
now.
don't want to talk about him?
Not even a little. Went out and traded for Devontae Adams in the offseason. I think if he gives me 1 to 2 more resurgent years, I can at least compete. Cade Otton, irrelevant. Cooper Kupp also went out and traded for him. Shout out Candy Big Daddy for the
my
trades.
My guy Cooper,
Yes.
who JP offered me the house for our very first year as a
2
league
firsts
guy.
and Devontae Smith for Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
but
little behind the curtain there, but
and then
that's okay.
Curtis Samuel, who I'm hoping people see how Keon Coleman is overrated, and Curtis Samuel can be a fringe wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and then went out traded for Kyler Murray, and then most of my bench is guys that I love and I just can't let go. Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Foreman. Herbert should get some play. Hopefully Foreman can find his way up there with some injuries. Tutu Atwell, I overpaid for, so I can't really let him go. Rashad Bateman, I refuse to believe is going to be bad. Rondell Moore, is whatever. And then there's that guy who I'm going to skip over as well.
How did you get stuck with Kadarius Toney?
I still believe in him, but Lord, is he giving me nothing to believe in.
I feel like he's been on half the teams this league. I had Toney.
He has him.
That might be something for the next episode. Which player has been on the most teams?
On the most, I bet it's George. It's got to be George Kittle.
No, I'll put it right now. I bet it's Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks has been on 3. I know Kittle's been at least 4.
Deontay Johnson, I feel like he's sneaky.
Oh, Deontay Johnson. Same with Juju.
I forgot where. I've had Juju 2 different times. Yeah,
I'm trying to. Now that you bring it up, I'm trying to think.
That'll be research for the next episode. But let's take a look at Mr. McGuire's draft picks here for next.
You want to look at the taxi, or we?
I mean, yeah.
Like I earlier mentioned, Miller's irrelevant and DeMarcado. I got a lot of hope in Luke Musgrave. He's a great receiving tight end, and Croft kind of does the blocking. And Cedric Tillman, I can't quit on because Steve Smith Sr. told me he was the sleeper of last draft, and I'm waiting for a breakout that's never going to happen because they paid Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy, so whatever.
All right, let's
and then my picks. I got a lot of those.
This is your draft. I mean, actually, next year's really your draft, JP. If you look at 2025, that's what is that? 3 firsts? How many? Scroll down a little bit.
4 seconds.
Jeez, that's unreal. So these next 2 drafts are really. I mean, next year's draft is your draft, but I mean, this year's also yours too. You got 2 firsts or 3 firsts. Once again, out of order, so I can't read.
I don't understand why it's being like that.
I don't understand why it's doing that. That's weird.
But so I got 3 firsts this year, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. A lot of capital spread throughout. I've been trying to move up to who's ever got 2-6, but I can't remember who that is. But negotiations haven't gone too well. I actually sent a late night trade the other day and woke up and was happy it wasn't accepted because I felt like I was overpaying. But so that's the roster here. We hope to address every need in the draft. Brock Bowers, but we'll see how that works for us.
All righty. Well,
so that's the best division we have to offer in our league. I guess we can go to the 2 consolation divisions. We'll start.
Okay.
We'll go to the SIU. Go with Jack.
Right. Go with Jack. I'll lead this breakdown as I own his pick next year. This is my pick to be a bottom 3 team. Probably has the best odds to finish last in the league and does not even own his first pick. Now, as we look at Jack's roster, he went heavy on even go to the bench real quick before, and then we can flash back up to the top. Somewhere, there's Nicholas Chubulus. So now let's go back. See, he invested a lot in the running backs. Singletary was actually had a great season last year, and I felt when Jack drafted Singletary in the inaugural draft, it was an overdraft because he was with Buffalo, and I still believe that. Jacobs, I don't like in Green Bay very much, and Jonathan Taylor, I'm not sure what to make of the situation there. So he obviously went all in on the running backs, which, do with that what you will. Now, the receivers, this is an absolute.
This team is just very.
It's very disastrous.
It's just a disaster, and I just feel like it's just aging very badly.
It is. That's if you go all in on the running backs here, they got to win you a championship because your window is the smallest.
And Lawrence isn't playing up to his potential, so that's kind of hurting him too. So.
Oh, very. When he drafted Lawrence, I actually offered him a bundle for Lawrence, especially during his bad weeks last season. And obviously he's still with the Jacks, so that tells you how that went. But
and Geno Smith at his flex. Super
he had
flex.
a-
I mean,
well,
He's
I
a
mean,
starting
after-
quarterback in the NFL. That's all that really matters for you.
That is all that
Second
matters.
quarterback.
That
He
is
got him,
true.
He got him off of the waivers with that resurgence in Seattle, and it really.
I
I mean,
remember
Jack
that,
was the
yeah.
1 seed in our opening season.
Well,
Lost, I believe,
none of
2 or
us
3 games.
Well, none of us really. We should have all knew that quarterbacks were going to be top heavy, and we all messed around, and no one. We had left. What was it? 5 quarterbacks on the free agency for like the first 6 weeks, right? In our first
Yeah.
year.
Well, that's
right?
when
Something like
also
that.
too we didn't do the fantasy money out on the waiver wire. We just did it by
That's
order.
right. Yeah, we just did
We
it.
just
in
did it
the-
by order, which cooked
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Which I didn't realize. I didn't know that the money restarted every year. Like I thought, like it just tackled on. Like I
Well,
thought
the
that.
problem would be then it'd be like Monopoly. You'd have to pass go to collect more, or you'd run out.
good
I
point.
figured that. Yeah. All right, let's take a look
Let's
at
move on to
bench.
his bench here.
He does have the platoon, though. I want to say he's got both Seattle quarterbacks. So that
Which-
Sam Howell trade to Seattle actually kind of helped.
I mean,
Yeah.
so it's do you pray on the benching of Gino, or did you pray that Sam Howell found a new starting job on a worse team?
I think you pray that Sam Howell found a new spot and a new destination where he's gonna succeed at. Which I really like him in Seattle, like Yak said. Like I really think he's gonna succeed
I never said I
there.
liked him in Seattle. I'm just saying he got traded to Seattle.
Oh, I thought you said
helps him.
you liked him over there. I don't know. I like him over there. I'm gonna give Gino till week. Let's see. I'll give Gino till week 7.
Oh, I don't know about that early. They won't pull the plug that early on him.
If they start out 2-6 or something like that, you don't think it's gonna be able to change the scenario?
I
I
don't
think
see a
he's
world
the
where they
guy.
start 2-6.
That too. Yeah. They
Well,
play the
we'll
Bears
see.
last Thursday night football game of the season, day after Christmas. Shameless plug for our favorite team. But we keep going down his bench. See the
Yeah,
running
rest
backs.
of it I don't care about till we get to Chase Brown.
I was just about to say that. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna have a really good, phenomenal year.
Not a
Not
fan
just-
of him, but
not-
starting
not
running
just-
back on a team, a good team at that.
Not just because I'm an Illinois lover, but I think he's gonna have a great year. I mean, they got rid of Mixon. Like we said, we talked about how we like Zach Moss earlier, but
Oh wow, Andrews and Downs down there. I didn't even see that.
yeah.
A little bit better the pass catchers for the bottom. Downs as well. I know that Adonai Mitchell is now a Colt, but it's still nice to have Downs there with Anthony Richardson. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You look down to the taxi squad. I don't know if he's got anyone hanging out there. Shout out, Malik Cunningham and Brenton Strange.
I don't think
No.
he has much. I don't think he has much picks, does he?
No, we're looking at him. A first, a third, and a fourth. And I can tell you,
Yeah.
I already know who one of those picks are going to be.
I also know one of those picks are going to be. I thought it was going to be the other guy, but I was
No
seeing
leaks.
other.
No leaks, son.
No,
Just-
no
No
leaks.
leaks. And
no
this is a
leaks.
4th rounder. I fully expect this guy to be there. So
Oh, I thought I knew that one too, but I thought we were talking about 1.0, 1.4. But yeah,
I don't
okay.
know what's going to happen in the first.
And also, I mean, it's also worth noting. I mean, he's got all his 26, but just a 25 fourth.
Yep. As I aforementioned,
is
I own his
crazy.
first. So
That
I
is
would have
crazy.
thought he
I'm
had more
praying
than just
him.
the fourth, though. We'll see.
We'll see what he does, and I wish the best of luck for him.
Only
But
time will tell. Beaver, your turn. Your
all
squad.
right, let's. Oh man. Well, you see here, I got probably the best quarterback in Dynasty League right now, Jay Hurts. What do you give me a look for?
I don't know about that. I think I can name 5 or 6 I'd rather have.
I don't know about that. Let's see where he
Lamar,
finished.
Allen,
Number
Mahomes.
2, he finished last year. I mean,
I
he was
understand that. I understand
It was
that.
probably Allen that finished above him, right? Or Mahomes.
Might have been Lamar.
Might have been Lamar.
One of
Okay,
them.
other quarterbacks I'd rather have than Hurts is probably Allen, Mahomes, and Jackson. That's about it.
All right.
Guess
Break
we'll
it down. Let's get the rest of the squad.
And then
Yeah.
I kind of screwed up on my running backs are kind of rough right now, but I'm hoping Spears gets all the touchdown carries, but that's probably not going to happen. But we'll see what happens. He's probably going to split carries with Pollard. James Cook, I'm pretty confident in. He's in a good Buffalo offense. Well, the receivers are kind of down, but I think Curtis Samuel's going to have a big year. I do not have him, but I think JP does. My receivers, I got DJ Moore, Nico Collins. I love that man. Gabe Davis, you're welcome, Andy.
Yes.
You kind of fleeced me on that, but
Thank you, sir.
we'll see how that goes. If you guys don't know, I traded Yak a second for Gabe Davis.
I think it was 209 or 209.
There's
209.
I used the
209.
209.
Now
to
209 is Cameron's.
I thought it was
Yeah.
211.
It was 209.
because
209.
I have Cam's at 210, but then Cam got 209 for me in the car, so everyone won except for Drew.
Interested to see how Nico Collins does. I still think he's the number 1 there with Tank Down going down and his injury of getting shot at a bar. I hope all good things to him. But But DJ Moore, I have good
He
things
also
for
tore
him.
his ACL, Drew. I think that's the main.
Yeah, that's the important.
Take us through your Quentin Johnston decision.
Yeah, let's hear about that. Earlier in the year, there was
Hold
a
up, hold
trade
up. Let me get
made.
to my. Let me get
No,
to the
no, no.
best.
Let's address it. It's right there.
We see
Okay.
Sam Laporta.
And
We know
Let's
he's
address
top three. Okay.
traded 111 for Quentin Johnson. Let's hear your
Let's
thought
be fair.
process.
Let's be fair here. At 111, I'm not gonna get anyone better than Quentin Johnson. I
You
think
don't
he's gonna
know
be.
that.
I do know that. I know the receivers in this draft class, and I know no one is gonna fall that I would love at 111. That's why I traded this pick. And
You
I
could have
think you
put
could have
together another package and used 111 for anything else. There are more than just receivers in this draft, Drew.
yeah, but okay, yeah. The running backs. I can't give out leaks. I can't give out leaks.
No
I can't
leaks.
give out leaks.
No
No
leaks.
leaks. No leaks. But I think Quentin Johnson's
you
gonna.
did it because you thought his value was higher than a receiver.
I did, yes.
Okay.
I think Quentin Johnson's gonna have a phenomenal year though. Harbaugh being there, coach scenario change. I think that's gonna help him a lot.
The guy who likes to run the football.
You know, we can get a couple screen passes. We'll see. But no,
All
I
right.
think he's having a good year.
We got
Samar White.
got Danny Dimes.
Oh God, I can't wait to see him in those ugly unis next year.
Yeah, how about that? Stay tuned.
Shout out-
Panda Challenge might be getting that Daniel Jones jersey in the new Giants looks. If
That's
you guys
right.
haven't seen the threads, go look them up. Pretty bad.
Zamar White, I'm a little nervous about him, but yeah, we'll see where that takes me. Take me home, baby. We got my bench right here. Miles Sanders, I don't want to talk about him. Keaton Mitchell, hopefully he comes back healthy from that torn ACL. That was just a heartbreaker. What was that week against the Niners, week 18? Is that the last week when they played him? Or was that week 17?
16, maybe 15.
Okay.
Yeah, earlier on.
Michael Thomas, he's just glass at this point. Khalif Raymond, I should just drop him. Zay Jones, another trade I might have lost. Because I got Dortch. Let's see if Dortch does good, but they're going to be split catches now. Reynolds, I have no idea. Mims, oh God, what another disaster pick at 211. I think I took him at. Let me look at that.
I think Laporta was 211. Mims, I think, was 210 or 301.
Uh-oh, I might have to stop this real quick.
We've lost Sleeper.
We have lost Sleeper officially. Oh no.
Just hit the refresh.
I'm trying. This thing's in the way.
No, it's over there to the left.
Other way, Drew.
There we go.
That works.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Just scroll down to the bottom.
Oh.
Oh.
There we go. There we
okay.
go.
All right. So
let's just go right to the picks.
Tucker.
Yeah.
Just straight picks.
We got to pick up some pace, fellas. I want to be able to rank the teams.
I know my tax squad's a disaster. Tank Bisme is oh God. Okay. So here we go. Draft picks. I'm looking pretty steady. Me and JP basically have the 2025 draft all together. We own like I'd say 60% of the draft next year, maybe even more. This year I got 2 first. I think I got 101. Shout out Caleb Williams. I love you, man. I think I got 109. So we'll see what Jake does. And I got 2 seconds. Oh no, I got 3 seconds, so I lose a second. And I got
2-4, 2-9, 2-7, and 2-11, I think, or 2-10.
And I got 3-1.
No, Andy has 2-10.
And I got my first I got the first pick in the 3rd round. So they're not too shabby, but let's hope that's
All right, let's get on to the Twin City Gritty Committee.
Oh man.
I'll take his roster.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Another old head squad here. The SIU division.
Well, you say that, but then he's got Herbert, Waddle, and Jefferson is a great spot to be if you're considered an old head roster.
Yeah, but then if you look at his running backs and his flexes, Mostert, he's getting up there. Ingram, he's potential bust breaker. He might not be as good as last year. We'll see.
If he does even 3/4 of what he did last year, he's a great option.
All right, take it away, JP.
Anywho, so start with Herbert. Who doesn't want Herbert? Then, as Drew mentioned, old running backs and Evans, but at least you get 2 years out of Evans. Who knows what Henry has left at running back? Mixon, fairy dust. Then obviously Waddle, as I mentioned, Waddle and Jefferson, great. Ingram, I've always been a big fan of Ingram. Mostert's old, and who knows now with Jalen Wright getting drafted there, Wright, A-Chain, and Mostert. 3-speed demons. Zeke, I don't even know what to expect in Dallas. Kirk Cousins, who knows if his timetable is longer than 1 year now in Atlanta.
Yeah,
But I guess you
come
can't
off
go
the
wrong with
Achilles
Kirk.
too. It's a tough
Yeah.
injury to come off of.
Then you start with the bench. You don't got much going on the bench, and that's what really worries me about Ty's team. Another pick that I own next year, I'm super confident that this one could fall into the first half of the draft. I don't like the bench. A lot of age, and unfortunately, the young guys they've missed. They haven't hit at a good rate. Let's get a little lower. See if he's got anything else going on down there.
It is hard. We do want to point out it is hard to draft. It just as hard as I'm not saying our job is as hard as an NFL GM, but
I mean,
it is tough to know.
I was about to bring up too. He's kind of in a predicament. I mean, he's got no picks coming up. But he's got
he's about to enter Cam Boyer range. He's got nothing. If things aren't going well for him, it's probably time to ship out all the veterans by at least week 4.
I mean, is there a possible scenario where he might have to ship out Jettas? I mean,
no.
I mean,
anyone. If someone
not only even if
nobody should ever trade Justin Jefferson.
Well, if I was trying to encourage him to trade Justin Jefferson, the guy bought a Justin Jefferson jersey. He will not be trading Justin Jefferson at any point in time.
And I will say this right now: he's letting Derrick Henry rot on that roster, whether he sits on the bench or whether he gets a lot of touchdowns. We'll see. But if he would, you know what? I'm not gonna say it. No leaks.
All right.
Got one pick coming in at 111. We'll see what he does there. All right, let's go to our
last
current champ
at the SIU.
See what
current champ here.
Andy, break this one down.
I got you. Got Baker Mayfield coming off a fresh contract extension, sticking around in Tampa. It's good to have some job stability, and he has just that. I mean, you got the best player in all fantasy football, arguably, in Christian McCaffrey, along with Kyron Williams, who we'll see what that Rams running back room is like. They did draft Blake Corum, so I don't know what that's going to be like there. But when he was healthy last year, he produced and put up some good games. Definitely helped Keegan out a ton. Talked about the Packer receivers already with Romeo Doubs. It's, the 4 or 5 of them pass catchers there. You don't really know what you're going to get. It's kind of just, you're throwing darts to try and see what sticks. CD Lamb, another good young guy to have part of your core. Everyone knows what he can do. JSN, we'll see the difference in Seattle. Obviously now Shane Waldron running the offense in Chicago. I believe Tyler Lockett is still with the Seahawks.
He came back. Yeah, he came back.
Okay, so I mean, he's still running the 3 receiver set, but new offense, new identity. Maybe JSN can get involved a little bit more. Darren Waller, I don't love the tight end. The fact that he was tempting retirement this offseason. I think I've heard that like 4 different times. It appears he's going to play football this year, but we don't know how much longer he's going to play football for. If he still plays this year, I think we're season to season on Darren Waller at this point. And as a dynasty league, that's not really something that you're going to be all go hung on.
No.
Brian Robinson with Washington, once again, an offense that just got Jaden Daniels, so they might try to run the ball a little bit more. They did sign Austin Eckler, but he's old and slow, so we'll see there. James Conner, similar situation. I know Arizona went to the draft. I forgot which young.
They took Benson.
Trey Benson. So we'll see. Conner's getting older, but another really good year last year. Helped Keegan out a ton. Got our guy Jay Fields in the super flex. Not going to start right away for Pittsburgh, so that'll hurt Keegan in terms of just having a second active quarterback on the roster. He should get in at some point this year, but as a guy who owns Russell Wilson,
there's a second quarterback on the bench.
I see. We got Will Levis as well, so I don't know why. Taysom Hill's in front of him. That's why. Tannehill is on his team, despite Tannehill not being anywhere. Probably might be a casualty after the draft. We'll see. Tyson Bagent as well.
He might be a Joe Flacco this year.
I don't think. I mean, if you think he's going to produce at that level, I think he could be.
No, I'm not saying he's going to produce that level. But I'm saying like he's going to sign at that. That midpoint.
So I can see that somewhere like Denver.
Yeah, most definitely. You got Tyson Bagent there. I think that was really only in place because of security behind Fields, wanting to have a starter. You look at the running backs, young guys, Algier, who's behind Bijan, Keontae Ingram, who I didn't realize is with Kansas City, but I guess is a Chief now.
I didn't either.
Could benefit him. I don't really know. The Chiefs,
I think they're bringing back Edwards-Helaire. So
yeah, I mean they got like they're like the Patriots when they had Tom Brady in terms of just a revolving door of running backs on that team. You can never really trust any of them. I got the Dallas boys, Davis and Vaughn, Keenan Allen hiding out on his bench, the new Chicago Bear. His stock is definitely higher now with Caleb Williams. And then I don't really think anything else on here is worth noting. Alan Lazard with the Jets. If he has a healthy Aaron Rodgers, that established connection from Green Bay, but I'm not banking on him a ton. Shout out Gerald Everett, new Chicago Bear. And
could be a sleek play there, tight end. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, Komet's coming off his best season, so it'll be interesting what we do there.
And then Ruckert and some Jelani Woods. No taxi squad, no IR.
No taxi, which is crazy. He's at a steady pace on his picks, I'd say, right?
Yep, owns everything. Has an extra 4th this year. Pretty solid.
I think it's another second, or I mean another first next year. Yeah, he's at Cam's. Okay, yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Okay.
all right.
Picking at the 112, so we'll see. I mean, guess he'll pick up the scraps.
All right, back for the Cornfields division. A little bit of an intermission here, but our third and final division in the league before we get to our pre-draft rankings. We'll start with Spanky's team. Drew, if you want to take the honors and going through our first Cornfield division team here in our league.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we got a QB1, Brock Purdy. Then we got the 2 running backs. We got AJ Dillon at Green Bay. He'll be splitting carries with Josh Jacobs, like we talked about earlier. Aaron Jones, a new scenario for him at Minnesota. Big rival there. We'll see how he does there with Sam Darnold. Maybe JJ McCarthy will be there. He loves handing the ball off, so we'll see how that goes. Then we'll look at his 3 receivers. Devontae Smith, that he recently just acquired from the man himself, JP. Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Jeudy. He just got the bag in Cleveland, so we'll see how that goes. Then we look at his tight end. He's got Young Kelsey. His 2 flex, he's got Demario Douglas, Josh Palmer. He might actually have a good season. Then at super flex, we got Matt Stafford. You guys got anything to chime in on?
Yeah, I mean, talking about the super flex, we've said it already before. Your QB2 just needs to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. That won't produce negative points. Usually, if a guy QB2 can get you, I don't know, this could be just spitballing 8 to 12 points. I feel like you're normally not going to be too upset. Could be wrong in that regard. That's my mindset. Maybe that's why I haven't won a lot. But no, I think usually if the QB2 can put up those type of numbers, unless you're Frank and you have CJ Stroud and Patrick Mahomes, like I feel like the standard for QB2 is anywhere from like 8 to 12.
Really, any double digits above 11's a pretty good mindset to have for Superflex, in my opinion.
I know we talked about Josh Palmer. We've talked about LA with Quentin Johnston. Really only adding Chark and McConkey in the draft. So with Harbaugh there, the run scheme that he likes to go forth, we'll see how that affects Palmer and Herbert. And he's one of the few that survived on the roster. You know, them getting rid of Mike Williams or letting him walk, I should say, to the Jets, and then trading Keenan Allen to our Bears. So we'll see. It's a whole new look receiving room for Herbert this year.
It'll be very interesting what they do over there in LA. I'm kind of excited. Okay, let's look at his bench. He's got Michael Wilson. An okay rookie season, I'd say. Surprised some people. Jameson Crowder. Then he's got Lenny. Cortland Sutton, the number 1 at Denver. We'll see how it goes over there this year. Let's see if Peyton can fix some things over there. We got McCall Hardman, Darnell Parham.
Cole Hardman isn't even rostered.
No, it doesn't have a team.
No, that is a good point.
Fournette doesn't either. I remember me and JP spent probably, I want to say that was like a full day trying to orchestrate a Leonard Fournette trade. That was you, right?
Oh, that was me. I remember that. That was the first year of the season.
Yeah, that's the first year, yeah.
Michael Carter and Juju Smith-Schuster with just a boatload of draft picks thrown in there.
I do have to say on his team, I do like Parham on the Chargers. I think he's going to have a really good year with Everett departing. I think he's going to step up, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. That's just me, though.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here from me, the Beave.
You got Trey Lance.
We got Trey Lance. We got Traylon Burks that we said earlier that my opinion, I think he's been on the most teams, but we'll see that in the future podcast episode.
I'm still holding out hope for Burks. Maybe it's because I'm brainwashed by Ty, but I don't know.
You know what?
He's got a full offseason with Will Levis. We'll see.
And he's behind now Hopkins and Ridley. So we'll see how that goes. So he's the number 3 there now, right? Because they didn't take a receiver, right?
He can learn from the older guys. And like I said, full offseason with Will Levis. He's too young, I think, to completely give up on him yet. He certainly has been a disappointment so far for Tennessee. But
what is he, 24, right? It just loads. Oh.
There we go.
Where is this? There we go.
We'll get a counter on how many times Sleeper has crapped out on us so far.
No kidding.
No kidding. Oh my gosh, you gotta do it again. Oh my god. All right. Well, I guess we are not gonna find out how old he is. Actually, I am gonna find out how old he is.
Look away from the porn.
Hey, what's he gonna 24?
24.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
On the money.
Happy
baby.
belated birthday, Mr. Traylon Burks.
That is right.
Birthday shout outs from Beaverfest.
Okay, so nothing really after that.
Check his draft
Let's
cap.
go look at the taxi squad and the picks.
He's got Luke Schumacher. I do have.
Oh, hey, Sean
Heinz
Bodie
here.
bet on himself.
Yeah, and then the picks. Yikes!
Wow.
Oh,
His
That's,
his text to the group chat the other day when because
Wait, that's not updated. That's not updated.
The picks
He owns his first round pick.
this year.
Oh, that's for next year. That's for next year. Sorry.
Yeah, because I remember he
next year.
texted in the group chat a couple days
Already
ago
has-
saying I won't
it's already
be
right
I
here.
won't be on the call for the draft, but if Malik Neighbors is there, I'd like him. In parentheses, my first pick is in the third round.
Yeah.
So hey, that's
No,
a
he's-
lot less pressure on draft day then. I mean, he's still got 5 picks total, I think. Yeah, four.
Hey,
How about that?
he
No,
gets
the
to
fourth
do-
round is Dade's round. It is his round this year.
his round this year, and guess what? He gets to open a cold one before he'll probably finish his cold before he gets to his round. So,
Yeah.
so there you go for D Spanky's team. Moving on, we're gonna hit up Cammy Big Daddy right here. Yak, you want to lead on this one?
Yeah, by far, I've never met Cam, but I think I mean, everyone's invested in this league. I'm not saying that we're all not invested. Maybe not as much now, but in that first year, this man might have been the most invested in this league out of anyone.
I would have to agree.
The emotions he wore on his sleeve in the opening season, I think he had he had scored the most points. I think that stat's right. I'm not sure, but I think he had the most points out of anyone in our entire league, and I think he missed the playoffs.
No, he made the playoffs, but I
He
believe
made the playoffs. I think I beat him, right?
he was the sixth.
No,
seed.
that was. Wait, no, Drew, you because you won. You beat me. It was like 103 to 96 in the first round in the first year.
He played Dade. He played Dade.
Oh, he played.
Oh,
Dade,
yeah,
because
yeah,
remember,
Because Dade's never lost to him. That was the whole gag. And then the next week was the Dade and Jack played and
Cam
Drew,
put up like 175 when he wasn't playing anyone.
yeah, because then Drew and Dade met the championship,
because
and that was the DeMar Hamlin day.
Yeah,
that's right.
There's some Beaverfest history for those of you that are just getting to know our league. But basically, the bottom line of that whole story is Cam is very invested, and I think out of everyone in this league, he has changed his team. We talked about how many players have been, on different teams. We want to talk about how many different guys have been rostered by Cam. I would say he probably has rostered more players than anyone else. He always likes to.
I believe we're able to check the amount of moves that each team has made.
That could be another next episode thing.
That could be the next episode.
We're going to bring some stats out in episode 2. But looking at it, Jordan Love, how about that? That was an investment that paid off for him. He looked pretty good. I can't say that too much as a Bears fan, but he's a startable QB1, at least in this format that we have right now. Barkley is an Eagle. New look there in the backfield. A new offensive line for him to run behind. David Montgomery was just a goal line vulture last year for Detroit. It's another good guy to have. The wide receiver, too. I mean, Darnell Mooney, us as Bears fans, we've experienced everything with Darnell Mooney's career. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in Atlanta. But Pittman just got paid by Indy. Anthony Richardson coming back. Hopefully he's healthy. We'll see what that brings. Chris Olave is a young stud. Doesn't help that Derek Carr's throwing him the football, but still, talent finds a way in any type of format, whether it's in real life football or fantasy football. Hawkinson's always a good guy to go to. Once again, he's going through a quarterback change, so we'll see how that affects his stock. I gave him Dallas Goedert last year for a couple seconds. Looked like a pretty good trade for me, but he's still fantasy relevant, and he's still definitely worth starting. Cooper was an absolute baller last year. Talk about a guy who went to a new place and just completely went off. Good spot for him in Cleveland. Great fantasy have. And Jared Goff just got an absolute bag by the Lions. 4 years, 170 guaranteed, over 200 million on that contract. Job security is always huge when talking about quarterbacks. I think we've stressed that enough in this first episode. In a league like this, that is the ultimate job security you could have. I think he's the second or third highest paid quarterback at an average annual value by the league this year. So that's huge for him to have in his starting lineup. And I know we say, oh, we get to the bench, everyone's bench. Nope, everyone's benches. It is what it is. I mean, we start a lot of guys in this league. We roster a ton of people. So you're really only bound to have 1 or 2 good guys on your bench that could maybe fill in as a starter. That's how you win this league, really, at the end of the day. It's how do you do when guys are on buys, guys get injured? How do you adapt? I see Dameon Pierce. I know I shipped him off to Cam in that Kamara deal. He has another starting quarterback on his bench in Derek Carr. And then you're hoping,
could have a sneaky starter in Brissett.
Yeah, Brissett we'll see with Drake May. And then Gardner Minshew as well now in Vegas. So I don't know what they're going to do with him or AOC, but Minshew has a shot to play some snaps this year at the QB1 spot. I didn't know Cordero Patterson was a Pittsburgh Steeler until this very instant. I feel like I
Wow.
always know all the moves in football, but hey, there you go. It's another weapon for that offense. I know their offense is going to be a lot different this year, having the QB room of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
They declined Najee's 5th year, right?
They did, but
They
they
did,
brought in
yeah.
Arthur Smith.
That's what I
So,
thought.
and then you look at the rest. We've talked about Chargers receiving room way too many times. You see Chark down there, T. Higgins hanging out on his bench. I mean, that's not a bad extra receiver
That's
to have on your
crazy.
team.
Crazy to
And
have him
then
that guy on the bench. That's crazy.
just a couple of old head tight ends, Hurst, Conklin. I mean, you pretty much know what you're getting there. But once again, we're at a tight end premium, so tight ends are those types of guys are maybe worth a little bit more this go around.
Look at a taxi.
Yeah, I don't know what Prince is. That
going on.
is it? I don't know. Is it? I don't want to say his first
Generic
name.
Prince.
Daenerys.
Yeah, generic Prince. That's Demario Davis, and then Jake Hanen.
Jake Connor.
Demario Davis is also a receiver.
His first name might not be Demario.
Darius.
It's Darius. That's the TCU guy. That's right.
Yeah, that is because Demario Davis, the linebacker.
Yeah, and then you look at Cam's picks. He's got
I will say, I'm actually really impressed with Cameron. This guy, for starting this year, he had 0 picks, and then he started feeding off his players and started coming back and getting some lower picks, whichever works, it works. He doesn't have any first, but I like the way he's going. I like the route he's going in.
He's giving me hard, like prime New England years. They sold out on a lot of first, but they always had their second and thirds to get their guys. So
same with the Rams.
Yeah, so. I mean, he's got the picks to try and do something. We've learned last year in the draft, and obviously first rounds are ideal, but I mean, Puka was out there. Puka didn't even get drafted by any of us in our 48 picks. When did you get Jaden Reed, JP?
I got him in the 3rd. I actually went back and reviewed. I looked at the draft a little bit ago from last year, and I believe that the first round had, I think, 6 or 7 hits I declared. The second round had 1, being Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
And then I think the 3rd had 4 or 5, and the 4th had none.
Tyler Scott's not a hit for you? We'll see. Hey, Puka. I mean, Puka should have been drafted. I even looked back at my big board, and I'm like, I had him ranked as a top 48 guy. I'm like, I don't know how he would have drafted, but hey, so it's all about a little luck at the end of the day. So that's where Cameron sits.
It's all where the player goes and how they're going to perform and how the coach is going to use them. That's how I see it now.
Yeah, it's all in the situation. So halfway through the Cornfields League or division, I should say.
Now a sneaky guy right here. We got Mr. Ferone here, big man out of Texas.
Second year in the league. You got Prescott, Harris, Jalen Warren. So he's got both Pittsburgh running backs in the fold. And then Jamar Chase, obviously having Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill. I mean, that's a pretty compelling, 1-2 punch to have as your receivers. I know we've talked Carolina. Deontay Johnson, that's a new spot, not with Pittsburgh anymore. I mean, how do we feel about Bryce Young throwing the football?
I'm a hit or miss on that. I don't know. I still think Bryce Young has a lot in the tank, but we'll see how it does. I do like the hire. I didn't like it at first, like JP knows, but I think this guy from Tampa Bay is going to bring a lot to the table, and I think his offensive playbook is going to bring a lot. What do you think, JP?
I'm not a big Deontay Johnson fan. I think he's been overrated for much of his career, but I actually really like the spot in Carolina for him. Bryce doesn't need those deep threats. Bryce needs those. He spreads the ball around. He needs efficient route runners, which is why I think they brought in Thielen last year. Thielen was just a little old when it was time for him to take the reins on a horrible offense. But I don't like Deontay Johnson. But if there was somewhere to like him, I think here and with Bryce Young and Canales is the spot to be.
Yep. And then obviously we talked Washington running back room, a resetting look for Austin Eckler, getting a new shot there. Can't overlook Travis Kelce. Yeah, Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. I feel like there's no explanation needed. Chris Godwin, I mean, he's got Mike Evans back besides him, so take that for what it is. I think it's always good when a wide receiver has someone else alongside them, spreads out the defense, at least in the secondary. And for fantasy reasons, I mean, it can be annoying because one week a guy like Evans could get 35 and Godwin can get like 12, and then the next week it's flipped. But I think overall it evens out. It's good to have him back. We talked about Tyreek Hill and having that connection as well with Tua. Tua being, down in the fold, being his QB2, giving him some depth along that way in the starting lineup.
Sorry, I lied earlier. There were 2 hits in the second round, Rashee Rice and Laporta.
Well, is he really a hit?
Well, he does hit. He hits cars, yes. And then in the third round, I don't know what I said. I think I said 4 or 5. There's if you count Spears, otherwise Tank Dell, Jaden Reed. So and then whether you count Musgrave or Michael Wilson as a hit, I guess it's up in the air. But point
Hey,
being is that
what about Tucker Kraft? When did I take him in the 4th?
yeah,
That's kind of a hit. Kind of a hit.
you
Kind of
took
a
him
hit.
in the I don't even see him on here. Where the hell is he? Oh yeah, you took him in the 4th. That's not a hit.
Kind of. He started playing good at the end of the season.
I mean, sure.
It's a wait and see deal. Well,
It's
we'll
only
wait on
because
that.
Musgrave was out. One of them's going to be a hit, and one of them isn't.
Let's look at Kale's bench. He's got plenty of quarterbacks galore. Talked about with Gardner Minshew previously. It's him and O'Connell in Vegas, so it's really anyone's job. I think they'll give it to AOC to begin, but I mean, you saw what Gardner Minshew did last year, filling in for Anthony Richardson. So can't say that for certain. I mean, if you're Kale, you're hoping that JJ McCarthy. I know that I saw the report out where Vikings are hoping that, or the Vikings have like a number of boxes in a process they want McCarthy to go through. And if he doesn't check all those boxes, by week 1, he's not going to start. So obviously then you're hoping Sam Darnold gets some time. I mean, not saying he's going to rely on Sam Darnold, but it's not bad to have another starting quarterback in the league on your roster. They're far and few to come by. And then Ritter and Pickett both getting traded as well. Ritter now backing up Murray, Pickett backing up Hurts. Clear that 2022 quarterback class was hot garbage, and we've seen that
Terrible.
now. And Aaron Rodgers. Forgot about Aaron Rodgers down there as well. He's got 5 quarterbacks on his bench. So if someone in this league is ever going to need a quarterback, they're probably going to go to Kale.
Who is he? Sorry, can we go back up real quick?
Yeah.
Who's he starting at quarterback?
Tua and I
and who else?
believe Dak. That's right.
That Tua trade is one of the biggest fleeces in the league. It goes under the radar, but he fleeced them.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep,
most definitely. You look at, he's only got 2 bench backs, Edwards-Helaire, Gainwell, both guys who are depth pieces in their respective running back rooms. We'll see what Philadelphia looks like now. Obviously, losing Swift could open up some opportunities. Tyler Boyd just picked up by the
losing
Titans.
losing Swift, but bringing in Barkley.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I meant to add on, Andy. That's who they signed for Burks. Burks ain't gonna play. He'll be the 4 because they just signed Boyd. So
I don't know. I think Burks could work in some opportunities. I don't know if Tyler Boyd's going to demand that much of a taking from him. We'll see. We'll see. And like we said, Juju, he's probably played on at least 6 or 7 of the different teams in this league. Noah Brown, Bourne, Trash, and Dawson Knox, Colby Parkinson, and Juwan Johnson, who no longer has a photo on Sleeper. I don't know how that.
Right. I'm seeing him right now.
Oh, there he is. There's Juwan, 27-year-old out of Oregon. He's there. At least on my screen, the way we're seeing it right now, there's no picture for Juwan Johnson, which is a crime.
Look at this taxi squad.
Because that man is a starting tight end in this league.
Wow, that's a horrible taxi squad and no picks till. Oh, not even. He doesn't pick this year. He doesn't pick for.
I own his first.
The next 7 rounds.
The next 2 years, I own his first.
Oh, he doesn't have a 20. Oh, jeez. Well, Kale gets draft day off. Kale doesn't have to worry about doing anything.
I believe I own his second next year as well. I believe
he's still got a good roster. I mean,
but looking at his team, it's fine. Like I think he'll survive that draft. He's not like other guys in this league that we've already talked about, where no draft picks
and no players
and no players. He's got some players, so I think he'll be all right.
All right, let's hit the last team of the year, the Luke Hunley.
I will take the Farmer Man's team.
Okay.
All right, so
you clicked on Kale's again, Drew.
Oh, my bad.
You did.
There we go.
Yeah,
Farmer.
I am a big fan of the Big Green Tractors, as they're known. First of all, you start off with a top 2 or 3 dynasty quarterback. Then you
the number 1 pick in our draft.
Yes, literally number 1 pick in our draft. Then you drop in 2 of the best young running backs in fantasy, probably top 5, both of them, if not top 4. Then all the receivers there, I think they're all, quite frankly, especially this year, going to be boom or bust guys. I don't think we're definitely not going to see the normal stuff out of Diggs. Ridley worries me. Went to the worst quarterback with I mean, I'm not a big Callahan guy, but we'll see what he does. But went to a worst quarterback to a team that's going to demand more targets with contrary to what Mr. Yakum said earlier, I believe that Boyd is going to demand more targets. I think that's kind of why you followed Callahan. I think they'll because he's not going to have to learn a new offense like most guys switching teams will.
It'd be
Pitts,
also, yep, that's what I was about to bring up. It'd be interesting to see what he does and see if Cousins gets
great
the ball
nickname.
more. Yeah.
Great nickname. Yeah, so we'll see what Pitts, and then Pickens. I still wish he was a Bear, but it's okay now. It worked out. And I mean, Watson, I hate to say it, but I still believe in Watson. So
Oh God.
He's a starting quarterback in this league, fellas.
That's what we said. Starting quarterback. That's all you need now. It's just super.
and now I just found out that our beloved Mitch Trubisky is back on the Bills.
You didn't know that?
I did not.
I did
That was
not.
early.
I
he
did know
got
that,
he got
actually.
his contract out of the way really early. It flew under the radar
Yeah.
because I think he was one of the first people to sign a deal because it's just one of those where it's
I read that he actually preferred to go back there because that's where he had the most success at, besides that 1 year with us.
he didn't play.
Hey,
That's
did he?
why.
I thought he played like 3 games.
No, he went off in the preseason, but he sucked in the regulars. Or I
Yeah,
don't even think
there's
he
job
played.
insurance there. He likes being Josh Allen's backup. Nothing
Hey,
wrong with
whatever-
you, man. Go get a
Whatever
paycheck.
Hey, whatever suits his boat, man. If he likes riding the bench, well, I mean, he does that anyway. So, but
There is literally not an important player down the list until we get to Rico Dowdle, and even his status as "quote unquote" important is up in the air.
Is
The
that
rest of this
Xavier
team-
Gibson I see?
That is Xavier Gibson. The rest of this team
hard
is
knocks legend.
Darius Slayton.
What do you call this? Hot garbage. But
I think
Darius
those
Slayton is a league legend. So.
I was gonna say, for those who are fans of the league and fans of the Big Green Tractors, Darius Slayton is a legend in this league. I don't think Darius Slayton could retire
he
in 2
will.
years.
He will
and I
own
think
a
Luke
roster
will always,
spot.
yeah,
Yes.
he could retire. And I think Luke will always.
I think
roster
his asking
Darius.
price right now is probably a first rounder.
Yeah, Darius Slayton is like the man in this, so that shouldn't come as too much of a shot.
Let's hit his taxi squad real quick. Oh, and there's no taxi
And it's
squad.
empty.
Okay. Picks, just like Kale, not looking too hot.
Luke has the least draft capital in this league. Not owning a pick next year, has a third this year from Frank, which I want to say is obviously toward the back of the 3rd round.
It's 311.
Oh, almost the very back. I forgot Frank was in the championship last year. Sorry, Frank.
So
But
basically a 4th rounder. So
yeah, hey, similar to other guys, a lot of other people in his division. He just gets kind of chill on draft day and not have to worry about much.
As we were discussing earlier, guy that was taken in his spot last year was Luke Musgrave. So there's there's still talent out there. At
There's
311.
value.
there is
There could be
value. You just never know. All righty,
All
well,
right.
there we go, Andy. You got it.
Let's do the pre-draft rankings.
There
Then
we
we'll get
go.
out of here. We know this is going to cause some controversy, but this is the committee's.
We fully expect it.
I'm fully expected for it to, but it's got to happen.
So we have a flip-flop at 1-2. We have, I mean, it makes sense from last year's championship to have the top 2 teams be the 2 that played the championship. Just took Frank over Keegan. I'm not saying it's interchangeable, but it's no doubt they're the 2 best teams in this league. We just prioritize the depth and the young talent on Frank's squad. And plus, when you look at quarterback, Keegan having Tyson Bagent, Justin Fields compared to as QB2 compared to Frank's QB2 being CJ Stroud. There's the gap.
Gotta lean Frank there. Yeah.
I agree there. I got to lean Frank there too.
And then I think 3-4. I mean, once we get to the real middle, I think it's those. Not saying it's those 2 and everyone else because it's fantasy football. Really, anything can happen. But when looking, if we're trying to tier this up, it really is those 2. And then there's a little bit of a drop before we
Nice
get to the
gap,
next
yeah.
spot. Yeah, and Cam, Jake, and Luke 3, 4, 5. We felt good about those. Windy City getting 2 in the top 4. Even though there are 2 Windy City guys on this podcast, we try to keep it as non-biased as possible because also you got to keep in mind like they're in our division. So while we joke around as our divisions as like cohesive units, at the end of the day we just want to beat each other. So it's not like that has anything to do with it. We have 2 SIU thirds at 6 and 7.
Oh,
tied.
My bad.
But I'm tied 6. We talked about
difficulties.
having guys like Herbert, Jefferson. That helps them there. We put Beave at 7. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. Drew, you want to explain your 7th ranking as we broke it down?
I mean, I just think my team's very beatable. I mean, I'm not beatable. Wrong words. Sorry.
Well, it is beatable. That's why it's
Well, it is beatable.
That's why it's 7.
But I think my team is really good. I got a lot of young pieces. My receiving core is really good. I think my running back core is going to surprise a lot of people this year. I got Zamar White. I got Spears. I think Tyjae Spears is going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think Pollard's going to have a lot of success in Tennessee, but I could be wrong. And we got James Cook. I think he did a great job in Buffalo last year. I think he's going to have a load of workhorse like last year. So we'll see what happens. And
Yeah.
I got the GOAT, Sam Laporta, best tight end in the league. You say
Yeah.
there.
There you go.
I think he's gonna be just as good as Kelsey. So we'll see. You got
As
any
we get
takes on
to
that?
no, I mean, we'll see. It's a long ways to go. Laporta just played 1 year, so it's kind of a wait and see situation on him.
I
But
agree, but he's in one of the best offices in the league. So as
he
much as
looked
I hate the
good.
Lions, yeah,
I mean, we think 7's the first spot for you. Put JP
yeah.
8, third in the Windy City division. Felt like this was a fair ranking for you, Mr. McGuire.
Yeah, I agree. I think I have a very, very, very high ceiling, but also a rock bottom floor. I mean, I don't own a first next year, so it'll be interesting to see how the season shakes out. I believe Drew actually is the one who owns my first.
But don't you have like 3 other firsts?
I do, but the low floor is what scares me here.
That's fair.
Bad bench. I think my starting lineup is great. I love my receiving core with Cup, Reed, Rice, hopefully, and
I see what you're
Adams.
saying. One injury though could cause a lot of problems. I see.
Yeah,
I feel like that's everyone, though.
but that's everyone. Yeah. So
That's
I
everyone.
mean,
and I think right behind Frankie, I think I have the second best quarterback duo in the league with Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson.
not for long.
Well, Caleb Williams is only going to be in his rookie season.
I don't give
So,
a sh- I don't give a-
Then we know this next one's going to cause some controversy. Kale, we put at 9th. Kale, I'm actually a proprietor of your team. I don't think it is bad at all. I'm going to throw the other two under the bus as they are not fans of your roster. So,
You know, Kale, I'm on your downfall. I got your first rounder next year.
I think
And
that
I
was most
just-
of the reason why he went at 9. I think that was mainly that was a Beaver play.
I just don't think your team's that good. You got Tyreek. I mean, I think he's gonna have a down year. He's gonna surprise some people. I don't think he's gonna be. He's gonna be good, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be as good as he's been in the past. He's going through a lot of drama this offseason with all his women, so we'll see what happens. He's got a lot of girl problems out there.
I felt like between once we hit the
I think after Luke, I think honest to God, 6 through 12, as much as Jack's roster sucks, he still has those big names. And if those big names play big football, I think anyone from 6 through 12 can take those last 2 playoff spots. But I mean, just looking at face value, I think 1 through 5, I'd be willing to place a large sum of money that all 5 of them end up
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I heavily agree.
There's a gap there for sure.
If you wanted to play heads or tails for 7 through 12, I mean, it's just going to be a coin flip for the last 2 to get in the playoffs. Wouldn't you guys say?
I agree.
Even with the draft coming up, I don't think it's going to change that much. Maybe for your team, McGuire, because you got so many picks, but that's just me. Because Jack, Dade, and Kale have a combine of 4 picks. Well, I don't really. I guess
Kale doesn't
3/4,
pick Jack.
but
Oh no, that sounds about. They have I think 6 picks. I think Data's 3/4 and Jack has 3.
Kale,
But irregardless, all right, let's move on here to 10 with King Jock coming in at 10. I know he was a little upset when we agreed to put him here. I almost just fell back in my chair. But so yeah, take it away. Let's hear what you think.
I mean, it's fair. It's competitive league. I mean, do I think my team's better than 10th? Sure, but it's all about results. I mean, I've literally finished middle of the pack the last 2 years. I have the 6th pick this year, and I would have had the 7th pick last year. So my team's fine. I don't think we're great. I don't think we're bad. I really don't. I don't think the goal is to not have to do Panda and not have to pick first. So I don't think I'm in this position to do that. I could be wrong. This could come back. This video could come back to bite me in however many months. But
I will say,
just come in with a quick stat real quick right here. I mean, obviously, as you just mentioned, you've been 6th and 7th in the respective years. You are also 6th all time in win percentage.
Yep.
So
it's about as mediocre as it gets. And I know that's not a good
13. So that's about.
Yeah, I mean that's not a good mantra to have, but I mean we're not playing losing football, so I think that's another way to look at it. You gotta try and look at it from the positive view, and it's got some older guys, but for the most part a younger team. You're gonna try and rebuild it. It's a marathon of a league. If you're not going for the gold, I'm not saying I'm tanking. I'm not tanking at all, but if you're not going for the gold, you're trying to work on retooling your team for a couple years down the line. And I feel like I'm trying to put myself in a good position. I own all my own picks, so I haven't shot myself in the foot in that way. And young guys like Puka and friends, and now A-Chain, who I know the Dolphins drafted Jalen Wright from Tennessee, but he's a fun young guy as well. And I got a quarterback cornerstone in Joe Burrow. I don't hate my future. I think we're fine. I think it's adequate. I think where I'm at's fine. It's not good. It's not great. It is what it is.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I would just love to see you do Fat Panda. I would love
I
to
think
see what you
everyone
do.
would. I think everyone would, Drew. So
I mean,
that's
I
what.
personally I did it this year. If you guys follow the league, I had a blast. Now, I might have said some out of pocket stuff, and I apologize to our fans out there. I'm sorry, but that's just the joy of doing it. I mean,
It's part of the league, but
part of the league.
yep.
Sorry, I've gone down a complete rabbit hole here, and I just thought I felt the need to mention that, Andy, when you earlier said that Cameron leads the league in transactions, he does with 68, but someone with 64 is not far behind, being you.
Really,
Yep, you are,
that's probably all
then
my Jawan
Frankie with
Jennings
60.
pickups and drops.
There's a couple guys down here.
That's
I'm
crazy.
gonna
Wait,
call
does that
one
include?
out.
Is
Jack
that
Bauer,
trades or
you
just
only have
free agents?
19
What's
with transactions. So I
What's
believe
Keegan
it's both.
12? What's Keegan
No,
12?
Jack is the bottom of the league with 19.
So that is trades and free agents.
I believe so.
Because I was gonna say I don't think I picked up a single free. I didn't spend $1 of my money this past year because I didn't think anyone on the waiver wire was worth replacing.
Sorry. That was. I was just looking at all time. Andy, you're at 104. You are actually fourth in the league. Sorry.
That's not bad. Yeah,
no,
I think
that's
that's
not
about
bad,
right. I did a
actually.
lot of
Drew, you're-
movement my first.
Let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. Drew's second in the league with 123, and he's 60 behind Cameron.
Oh my! I'm second.
Yeah.
There's your stat of the show.
There you go.
And then Jack and Keegan are at the bottom with Keegan 42 and Jack 34.
Attaboy,
Cam
fellas.
makes more moves in a month than Jack has made in his entire time in this league.
And neither one has
Alright.
won a championship, so they're all in the same place at the end of the day.
Alright.
That's a good
All
point.
right, yeah, I want to wrap up 11 and 12.
Yeah, Dade and Jack, similar to what we said. I mean, it really could be anyone's game. I think a lot of the Jack part, JP put a lot of that propaganda into our head because he owns the picks and he felt strongly about it. I mean, also the aging receiver core, and as we mentioned, going all in on running backs really shortens your window to compete. So 12th was a fair place there, and then that really just left Dade at the end. Not a lot of draft capital to work with this year. Still working on the way up.
Hey, I do like
believe-
that. I do like that he doesn't give up. I do like that. I will shout out to him. I do like that he just didn't say screw it, I'm tanking. I like how he tried the whole.
But when you don't own your picks,
he
it's
didn't
hard to
own his
just say,
own first
"Screw it,
round
I'm
pick
taking."
last year.
I know, but still, I don't think he would have tanked if he had his picks.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
No,
It's hard to
we've
say,
only had
though.
we only have had a couple blatant take jobs, and some of them have resulted in some fines to the commissioner, which I'm not even sure have been paid yet.
No, but the new treasurer who was also in this call will be coming to collect everyone's debt and their payments for the league within the next week. So stay alert for that.
Oh yes. Wait, so it's good. So league dues are due within are they going to be due by the draft somewhere around there?
Yeah, I'm gonna make an announcement tomorrow.
Oh, press release. Stay tuned. It'll be
Press
coming out.
release.
Press release
Ooh.
tomorrow. But that'll do it, fellas. That's our 1 through
Yep.
12. Get one last look. Going through all the teams. This probably will be the longest one we do. We've been on this and yapping about our league for quite a while. Like I said, we'll do a post redraft recap show. So probably no show next week. Then with the draft being on next Saturday, not Saturday, 2 days, Saturday
Probably.
25th.
We'll
Good
probably
for
plan
Monday. Monday,
for
Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, we'll plan for Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And then we'll just go through it throughout the summer. Summer's kind of a dry spot, so we might just be we're always going to try and bring people on from the league if it's not just the three of us and just talk about stuff and have a good time. So
Maybe a Jason Kelsey. We'll see.
yeah, who knows? I sure. Why not? Why the heck not? But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. This is just the beginning of what we're trying to get going here. Like I said, we don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to figure it out along the way. So episode 1, just Beavin in the books, going through all our league and teams and stuff, and catch you guys next time.